Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Brown Girls with Beautiful Lonesome Dove. How are you? Nice to see you in the building. Heute ist Montag already, you all. It is Monday. Guten Morgen to you. I hope you are having a wonderful start to your week. I got up late, y'all. I was super exhausted. Woke up at 4 o'clock, went back to sleep, woke up late, and my head is hurting. I had some kiwis, but I think I need to eat something else. I don't have much time on here, but I'm going to go ahead and get into it, y'all. So, as you can see, the title says, Did Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA cause America to reach a turning point? Now, what I've noticed is it has a lot of people that would not be engaging with this channel, having these conversations, coming together, even if it's, in a hostile manner, they're still having a discourse, right? So, are we reaching a turning point? Because I feel like sometimes something can be negative and be used for our highest and greatest good. In fact, that's one of the things that, I wish upon myself. So I think, we have to put things into perspective, everyone. Not everybody's going to agree with you. And quite frankly, we have a lot of miserable people in this world. I must say that. And I was going to start this video off with a different video to review, but actually, I am going to review my own video on this channel. And if you haven't seen it, you can see it here now. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, just a moment. I'm about to share. Okay, so let's go to my YouTube channel. All right, so as you can clearly see right here, I have a video. All right, and it's called America is at War. Okay, that's what it says here. America is at war, you all. And what did I mean by this? What I mean by the fact that America is at war is that we are very separated, we're very divided, and unfortunately, we're not all going to get along. I have to say that we're not all going to get along. All right. It's not going to happen anytime soon. Even though we're having these discussions, even though we're having these debates, even though we're having this discourse and dialogue, there's still going to be people miserable. So I'm going to play this because I want y'all to understand the premise of what I was saying here. So let me go ahead and play. I'm not going to play I might play the whole thing. It's only 7 minutes, but I'm going to interject in a minute so you can understand what I'm speaking about. 1 second. Hi, y'all. It's me. Just want to say I'm out here today enjoying my Sunday. Heute ist Sonntag, y'all. You see the hair is in a fro. I washed it. So somebody felt the need to come into the comment section and say, oh, I couldn't get through the video because the glasses were too much for me. You know what I told them? Hold on. I don't think it's on this video because I got 2 different channels. I told them to thankfully get off my video, and they did me a favor, right? Because I don't want your negative energy coming over here, because the message was actually positive. Blow dried it just earlier. I didn't really have time to flat iron it, so we're in our, puffy state, our poopy state, but yet we're still out here enjoying our day. And I just want to give a special acknowledgement to my YouTube channel for all the people that came in the chat earlier. I appreciate you for having a dialogue and a discourse. And what we're trying to move this country to is not to be so hypersensitive when people have a difference of opinion. So if that's one thing that I could, share with you, is just please try to have an open mind. Even if you don't agree with someone, we don't have to resort to name calling, right? And belittling, and with all of the insults, because that's when things start to really get out of control and escalate, and then that can incite violence within itself. I already heard that our country could potentially be going to war. I am hoping that that's not the case. I don't want that to be the case, y'all. I want us to have a peaceful life here in America. I don't want us to feel that we have to worry about being in a war, y'all, because technically this country is already in war. We're at war and we don't even know it. We're at war with this government, with the politicians keeping us so divided and divisive. We're at war with that, y'all. People don't even understand that. We are being utilized and pinned against one another. The people that really have the power and the control and everything that matters in this society are the elites, the billionaires, the trillionaires, and people like that make all of the decisions. So think of how many people reside in this world, and think of how much power and control we don't have, right, over this country's affairs. Um, I think that we should be the people that rule the government, not the government ruling us, because that's how it is in some of the other nations. But we basically are dictated, by the government. It's almost like a tyrannical situation. And so if we're not careful, we can lose control of this country in its entirety, y'all. We really don't have control, to be honest. We really don't have control like we think we do. So the infighting amongst one another is not going to help. The name calling, the insulting is not going to help. The separation and division. Now, sometimes separation and division can be good in some instances, and sometimes it can be harmful depending on how it's done, right? Let's talk about the Tulsa, Oklahoma bombings. Black Wall Street. They were separate and they were thriving financially. And what ended up happening, they came and destroyed that, y'all. So as long as we understand the real narrative of the history of this country, I think we can get somewhere, at least by having dialogues, having conversations. But if you always want to basically gaslight someone and tell them that their truth doesn't exist, your experience didn't happen that way, you're using this as an excuse, we're not going to get anywhere like that, because you're invalidating someone's real life experience, and that's not right. Your life matters, right? I'm not just saying BLM, because I don't even subscribe to that whole narrative in the first place, right? I know what stands behind that, and I know people, when they say it for a different reason, but I know and I understand the politics behind it, right? So we know that life matters. Human life matters. Even, I would say, plant life matters. Trees. If we didn't have trees right now, where would we get our oxygen from? They're telling us the oxygen comes from the trees. If we didn't have life itself, none of this would matter. We get life and energy from the sun. If we didn't have animals, y'all, a lot of us wouldn't even exist. If we didn't have fruits, vegetables, all these things, we wouldn't be walking and talking and doing the things that we're doing today. So all life matters. And we need to have these people accountable to stop pillaging this earth, stop pillaging this land, taking all of its natural resources and just building buildings all over the place. This homelessness needs to be addressed. The hunger needs to be addressed. All of the people out here that do not have somewhere to live and sleep at night, that doesn't even have to exist in America. Yet they make it so difficult for people to survive, and it's ridiculous. For this to be allegedly one of the best countries and richest countries in the world, I certainly don't see that. When I drive and I see people out here panhandling, and I see people that are veterans that don't have anywhere to go, it's like these people some of them have given up on life, and you don't know what these people have had to face. You just don't know. And I also want to say this. It is very easy for people to turn their backs on people when they're down and out, and make excuses about why these people are in these situations. But if you're not helping the problem and you're not trying to understand and you don't care, be very careful, all right? Because tables can turn swift, quickly, and in a hurry. You never know what can come about in life, right? You never know how the narrative can change in your life. So be careful the next time, you want to talk about people that are not facing a challenge that you are facing. Now I know people have to make decisions, and some of these people make decisions that have impacted their lives for the worse, but that's not all people, and we have to understand that as well. So that's the message that I want to convey. I thank you so much for tuning in. I thank you so much for watching. Until next time, you all stay blessed. Remember to continue to walk in your divinity, y'all. All right, so that was the message. All right, that was the message. That was the message. And so because that was the message, I had negativity coming into the building. So I'm going to show you in just a second, y'all. All right, let me see if I can find the messages that I'm looking for. All right, hold on one second. Hold on one second, y'all. All right, let's look at this video. Okay, and then I'm going to share this tab, and I'm going to share some of these messages. Okay, so we have someone from the Broken Hearts Club. They put 100%. It says Black 7892. She lonely in another country. We, they, sun, tree, get the F, right? This is the idiocracy of people, right? And then I commented, lonely in whose country? Apparently he doesn't know what country I'm in. And that shows me the ignorance level of some people. I see you come back here to comment again. You must love it here. I told him, you get the F off my page and thank you, because he commented twice. And I find something very ironic about males that come onto females' pages, hence Brown Girls Are Beautiful's title, and feel the need to come on here with their negative energy. Then he said, she all over the map with this stupid looking face. I said, thank you for tuning in. I love traveling. Okay. And then somebody said, I could not continue watching. The sunglasses is too much. I said, thank you for leaving. You did me a favor. Now, Reinhardt's, let's click on them for a second to see who this is. This is Reinhardt's, everybody. So they want their little 2 seconds of fame. This is what this idiot looks like. The bald-headed idiot. Everybody give a shout out to, what is it? Reinhardt Zaire. Okay. Now let's look at what the other idiot looks like. Since they want this type of attention, I'm gonna give them what they asking for, y'all. Black 7892. Okay, this is a black, or what you call black, a melanated guy. Like I said, this shows you the level of ignorance of people. This is him. It says, why are, let me see what he's talking about.
What's wrong with many black women?
Oh, he got a problem with black females, y'all. So now we know why he was coming into the comment section with his negative, hostile antics. Why are many of our women so cruel, calling Popo could get me killed over dog alleged droppings? You know what? I don't feel sorry for him, and he probably deserves it, because anytime you're coming on to my page, right, with negativity, and I'm trying to spread positivity, that lets me know the level of vibration that you're vibrating on and the frequency that you're on. So, oh, somebody called the police on him for dog droppings. Well, clean up after your dog. Y'all make sure y'all go give him some love. Black 7892 feels like he needs some attention, y'all.
Now I'm walking my dog like every day.
Oh, I can't handle it. You just, I can't even look at, it's the gray in the beard for me. I just can't handle it.
Yo, what's going on today?
Wait a minute, y'all. What's up with the curled mustache? Oh my gosh. And then what? Black sheep? I could see why you're the black sheep. I could see exactly why. He's a grandfather. It says grandkids love is great. Today? So you're a grandfather coming. You could be probably my, let me see. How old is he? I don't know. With all the gray. He's like an older uncle to me. I would say that. He's like an older uncle. So he's a grandfather.
Talk about Chester, Pennsylvania, right fast. 1 minute.
And he's in Pennsylvania.
Like it's been there for a long time.
And look where he's living, y'all. He's okay. And it's been there for a long time. So, people like this feel the need to come on to somebody else's platform and try to attack them for no reason. All right. Now, let me see what y'all are talking about in the comment section. Um, Jetted Out said, no, it wasn't Kirk. It's something that was always there and waiting. Trump just gave the green light, and now they feel comfortable doing it. It's always been a deaf culture with makeup coming off. Definitely agree with that. I'm not Charlie Kirk fan, but sure, I was seeing someone in his path to be American president one day. Okay. I have those same glasses. Shout out to you, Andrea, because we know about style over here. One med said his views towards USA are so respected. However, what really was messing his opinions is his limited defense of genocidal terrorists of Israel. And the moment he turned on them, they eliminated him. Andrea said Masons do enjoy putting on a stellar show, so get your popcorn ready. As long as we have an individual and not a collective mind, they win. Thank you, Mia, for saying that. I definitely agree. That name calling is so juvenile. I don't know why grown people still resort to that. You're so beautiful. Patrick, thank you. Andrea, they want to bury what happened here in America, and that's not right. I agree with that as well. What force is tainting all of that? You said amen, Melinda. Don't build houses, but those poor homeless people need help. They are building houses, dead privacy. They're building houses all across this city. Every time I turn the corner, they're chopping down more trees. More animals are coming out of their shelters and coming into people's yards and neighborhoods. And this idiot is talking about I'm lonely because I'm talking about trees. I'm talking about the sun. I'm talking about fruit. If we didn't have these things, would we be in existence? Please answer that. So, what is he talking about? The ignorance of people. You said, yes, allegedly. My son has suffered from homelessness and mental illness. I pray government does something. And Melinda, I got to say this. I do feel sorry for your son in the mental illness, but I also do feel that a lot of times people cast people as throwaways when they physically or mentally can no longer provide for themselves. I think America does throw people away sometimes. And I see that other nations don't do that as much. Amen. Tables have been turning all over the place. You said privacy, no R words. A positive message being met with negativity because some people are just miserable, very miserable. So I'm here talking about homelessness. I'm talking about hunger. I'm talking about the fact that we're having discourse, we're having dialogue. There are a lot of issues that America's facing right now. And in the heart of Charlie Kirk, I have seen a lot more people speaking up about politics, people that I normally wouldn't see. And all they can focus on are my sunshades and the fact that I'm talking about trees, the sun, but you didn't hear anything else that I said about the fact that we need to take this country over. The fact that we have trillionaires and billionaires that are causing divisiveness, that's making decisions for us, and we're used as collateral damage here in America. He didn't hear any of that. They're focused on the aesthetics. So maybe from now on, I just need to do my video in darkness and pitch black. You know what I'm saying? Because people are so hyper focused on the wrong things. You can't even get a message across. And these came from melanated, quote unquote, black males, y'all. Black males. I just showed you a screenshot of what they look like. One of them looks miserable living where he's living, and he has grandchildren and getting mad at me because I'm walking and saying that I look lonely in another country. I don't know where he gets that from off the 7-minute video that he watched. Yeah, people have mental issues, and people like him probably need to be taken off the street talking about what's wrong with black women. Somebody called the police on him for dog poop. You know what? He obviously is lonely and does not have a woman. And so sometimes you'll have males coming into your comment section making assumptions about you because they have an issue with another melanated female that they couldn't be with and the relationship didn't work out. So then they come into your comment section deflecting when we're not even talking about relationship status, right? It's stupid. Andrea, no, right? She doesn't deserve the negative hate. No, that's not him. Oh, how we definitely know. I don't watch videos of us going against each other. I don't either. You are beautiful. Y'all are the most beautiful woman on God's earth. I love you all, women. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's get back on task. Yes. OMG, I'm so here for this. Get 'em, girl, said Crystal. And I don't want this to be like male versus male because I'm not into that. I personally feel that men need women and women need men. We need each other to procreate. I do believe that males are supposed to be protectors, males are supposed to be providers, women are supposed to be nurturers because that's our instinct nature. And I feel that we play our roles. We are biochemically designed differently by the creators for a reason, right? Our genetics is different, our biochemistry and our hormone levels are different for a reason. But why are you coming into someone's platform attacking them for posting basically nothing negative? You're coming over with negativity. That lets me know that they're miserable, y'all. Your was very good, positive, and uplifting. It resonated with me as a man, but it ain't going to resonate with everyone. Sadly, it's the state of the world. It is Slingshot. You said, damn, you fine. Oh, thank you, Black. Y'all, I am not put together today. They keep disturbing the earth, neutering and spaying cats, and wonder why there's a serious infestation of rats. They need to stop going against nature. That's what I'm saying. That's what the video was about, Andrea. Respecting nature. Because when you start throwing off the ecosystem, it affects us. People don't understand that when you start chopping down all these trees, even though we have a bunch of buildings out here, a bunch of abandoned houses, they could actually renovate these homes, make some of these things into homeless shelters. But you rather cut down the ecosystem where the animals dwell. I told you just some months ago there was a deer behind the fence in my yard. I go out there behind the fence. He's staring at me. I'm staring at him. And he was a tall deer, too, y'all. And then after a few moments, he took off and ran. I saw 3 deer running down the street. This was like in the AM. They don't have anywhere to go. These animals don't have anywhere to go. And so while you're sitting here talking about, because I'm talking about trees, I'm lonely, I am letting you know that this is affecting our way of life because the animals don't have a habitat because they keep cutting down all the trees and building all these subdivisions all over the place. All right, let's keep going. What have you done personally for the homeless, Robert Hayes? Robert Hayes, what have you done for them personally? I'm talking about it. I'm bringing awareness to it. So you worry about what you've done for the homeless personally, okay? You said, I put that heart on your video. That's me, Broken Hearts Club. Thank you. Heal the division. That's right, Magic. You're not a likable human. Robert Hayes, I don't care if you like me or not. Everybody's not going to like me. And obviously, you're miserable. And I wouldn't even classify you as a human at this point. So you can get off my page kindly. Moderator, go ahead and ban him from the building forever. Name calling brings humor into the mix. Plus, calling people names doesn't get people murked, says Tricia. Yes. Let's keep going, y'all. Name calling is hardly ever for humor. We need each other facts. Don't address it at all. Robert, be more uplifting. No, Long, go ahead and ban him. He doesn't even deserve the energy to be here on this channel, okay? He doesn't deserve it. Why aren't you praying white people for white people didn't educate me, Chris Wall. White people indoctrinate. So there's a difference. Why don't you go figure out the difference in the definition? Why don't you do that? So I see that we must have a racist in the building that wants to be acknowledged by brown girls are beautiful. So now he will go ignore it. I'm going to pay him what he's worth. Nothing, you all. Ban him from the building, please. All right. Please be positive, guys. She doesn't deserve to be treated this way. I'm not dealing with it. Your attitude is what's bad. Okay, well, I don't care if you like my attitude or not. Too many trees lead to fires. Dave, you're probably the one setting the fires, okay? Let's keep going. YouTube University trolls. This chicken is mean. Bye, Felicia. Okay, David the Cocker Spaniel, why don't you go back to the cave from which you dwell? All right. Can't argue, so bans them. Gilberto, you can go too, because I'm not on here to argue. I don't know why y'all. Oh, you know why they're over here? Because I mentioned Charlie Kirk. You said Black, you're a 10. Thank you. They are distracting. And so this goes on. Yes, ban all of us, please. Yeah, I really wish I would go away, but you see, like, it's something about the energy over here that they keep coming because every time we have a discourse and a dialogue, this is what we go through, right? And it's only been recently. So that's why you have the title here. Did Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA cause America to reach a turning point? And I agree with that comment earlier. It's always been here, but the masks are falling off. They feel free to do this, right? Just like that student that went over to the HBCU college in Tennessee and put up that table and said that he feels that DEI should be illegal. And then he said, deport the immigrants. And then there was a hostile, situation taking place. My thing is, don't respond back to these people with that type of energy. Don't give them what they want, because they're like leeches. They are thirsting, and they need energy to leech off of, because apparently they don't like their own energy. So they come to other people to try to get what they're thirsting for. Pay them what they're worth, nothing. Okay? You said there are bigger things that the people should be mad at and questioning. I agree, Davis Packard. Let's see. They are going to be they're going to be ignored. Okay. Men are weak in America. America is not a country. America is a corporation, Davis. It's not a country. And Jabril says, peace and love. Peace and love to you. Good morning, my dear sister. What's good, Mujah? Name calling means you've lost the argument. Somebody said, hey, Zeus is real. I'm glad you feel that way. Dang, what was it? I just talked to my daddy last night. Y'all want to hear the conversation? You said, why did my daddy dip out? Y'all, my daddy and my mother are still married, living in the same house as long as I've been alive. They've been together for longer than I've been alive. So let me let you hear a little bit of our conversation. My daddy had me rolling. We talked about politics, okay? All right. So we don't always agree, but y'all, he had me laughing. So let me skip some of this. Hold on.
In their pockets.
I was laughing at him, y'all.
And Donald Trump.
Yeah, that thing that you said about the two-party is supposed to provide balance about how to make the people's lives better and not to divide people. I agree with that.
This is how it's supposed to run, but as you see.
So basically, we agreed with that. He was saying that I didn't get to capture the very beginning because I was driving, and then I made my way home and I was trying to clean the kitchen and stuff. I was doing stuff. But he basically, what the premise of the conversation before I could record it, he was just saying that people have this left and right wing situation. I'm just paraphrasing. Democrat versus Republican. He said, really, that was supposed to provide balance for the country. But unfortunately, it was supposed to, it's not working that way. He said that's supposed to be for the better life of the people here in America, to provide the balance, the Democrat versus Republican, but it's not going that way. And we can clearly see this in the comment section. So to your point, Strive, sorry that my daddy didn't dip out. Maybe yours did, and maybe that's why you're miserable right now. Okay. You said, and that is why my Black Belizean wife is better than you. Okay. Well, I'm glad you feel that way. You feel the nerve to come over here and tell me that. I don't really care. Who's acting like a victim? Oh, so he thinks I'm acting like a victim. All this education and privilege, and who's acting? Did I say anything about being a victim, y'all? Never did. Okay. You said that's their job. They're very triggered, y'all, very hateful. And this made up heaven that they feel that they're going to, I don't think they're going to be dwelling there, y'all. You said they murdered Kirk to distract us. Yes, from the e-files. Okay. You think that turning point for the better? I don't know. Some of these trolls in here, I don't know. It seems like they're even more miserable because their savior has been massacred, y'all. What do you think? You said, let's see. I'm not reading that because y'all are silly. Black Lives Matter cost 2.1 billion in damages nationwide. Connor, why don't you thank George Soros for that, because he funded it, okay? And he funds Antifa as well. So why don't you go take that up with your Hungarian leader? Why don't you go address that with the people that's funding it? And as far as Charlie Kirk's death caused none, his death was a murder, okay? So why don't you get your facts straight? And it was done by his own people, y'all. I believe he was murdered for a distraction. I think so. Politics is secular. Brian said, you ain't oppressed. Nobody said I was. You came over here with nonsense. The Democrats and Republicans are just one party. And I do think they play together behind the scenes as well. I think we need an independent party, which is something that I was talking about earlier. You said they all have shared interests, and I do agree with that as well. You said fascists and Nazis use minority groups as false devils to gain power. We need to stand together. Thank you, October Smoke. You are not a victim. White people are. I'm a victim that you're in my chat targeting me. I feel threatened. I wish you would leave. Okay. You're doing a great job, ma'am. Stay up. Thank you, Robert Thomas. Energy vampires. They've always been wanted our energy, y'all. They sell melanin on the market. Like I said, they can't survive without us. They never could survive without us. As a matter of fact, when they lied and said that Christopher Columbus came over here, they didn't talk about the melanated people that were guiding him over here. So, they always like to repaint and rewrite history and the narrative. And like I was saying in the video, until we can get back to the fabric and the history of what has taken place here in this place called America, nothing's ever going to change, because they always want to write a false sense of history. They want to, leave out the truth and paint it in a way that makes them feel better and greater. And unfortunately, after all the lying they've done, after all the murdering they've done, they are still hostile. They're still upset. They're still triggered. They're still mad. So what can really fix them? They claim they believe in Christianity. They claim they believe in the Bible. They claim they believe in Jesus, but they're not following it. And they think they're going to this this heavenly place called heaven. They think they're magically just going to be forgiven of all their sins, because they think that Jesus died for them to act like this. And they think they're going to live, I guess, in paradise. That's what they think is going to happen to them. And, I don't even feel sorry for them at this point. They get what they deserve. Captain Curse was their mouthpiece. Yes, I do have Instagram Black Attack. Charlie Kirk was killed as a distraction and to further and divide. Kimberly, I do agree that he was killed as a distraction, but I also think that they're going to use it. I think the government is going to use his attack for their own purpose and their own agenda, their own narrative. And we see that taking place right now. You said America's a corporation 100%, started in 1772. She knows. Yes, it is. This is not, when they say United States, first of all, the states aren't even united, because they have their own legislation and their own laws from state to state. How is that united? And then you see all the division that goes on in every territory, every state, even within the people. They can't even have a positive dialogue or a mature discourse without the insulting, without the name calling. That's what I was talking about in my video for those of y'all that are just joining the chat. And it's sad, because I really believe the earth is filled with good versus evil. You have miserable entities that I don't even classify as humans, and you have positive entities, right? Because we know that even though we have these bodies that we have, which our soul and our spirit dwells, energy never dies, it transfers. That's the law of science. And so these people with this negative energy, they need someone to spew their negativity on, because they're like blood suckers and energy vampires. And so the more that you give them your energy, the more they feed off of it, because they're so hateful and miserable. They're walking demons themselves. They derive from hell themselves, y'all. That's where they dwell from. You said, I would hope they've been together longer than you've been alive. LMAO. Oh. You said, I bet the person who said that to you that doesn't have a father and he doesn't. Yeah, so I just played it for you. That was me talking to my daddy last night. And actually, he had called me earlier, but I was out and doing some stuff. So I said, well, daddy, can I call you back? And he was like, sure, whenever. And so I called him back and he answered. And so we talked about something because I was telling him what was going on. And then I started asking him because my dad used to be in the military, y'all, for 17 years. He's a veteran, Army retired. We lived in Germany and for 5 years when I was younger. So I come from like a diverse background. That's why a lot of people get very triggered and angered. And I think melanated males sometimes, like these older males, I've seen them in my comment section getting upset. And, just like yesterday, somebody said, I bet your husband is white, which if I had a white husband, what difference does it make? Candace Owens has a white husband. Go attack her for that. I know a lot of people that have interracial marriages. That has nothing to do with me. The point that I'm making here is we have a greater issue. Y'all are worried about little petty stuff. In my background in that video, did y'all see how many different nationalities were out at that boardwalk? It's so many people out there and that's in this country. So what are you going to do? Go and ask everybody, oh, what color is your spouse? What color is your spouse? Like you sound ignorant. We are a mixed nation at this point. We have all types of people over here, and we know how a lot of people got here. Okay. So it's just ignorance, y'all. You said Charlie Kirk was fairly moderate compared to most right leaning individuals. This is idea he was racist is stupid. Who said he was racist? Did y'all hear that come out my mouth? I advise you to watch an entire clip. Stop telling me what to watch. First of all, Connor, you're ill informed once again. I didn't watch clips. I said this before in the video. I watched his speeches in their entirety and I saw where he lost some of his debates. All right. And I don't agree with everything he said. I did agree with partial things that he said, but not all of the things he said in their entirety. And if you don't understand that, then I would feel sorry for you, but I'm not going to feel sorry for you at this time because you're an adult and you should understand how to read and comprehend at this level, at this point in your life. If America's a corporation and you don't like it, why don't you just quit? Tony, why don't you just quit coming on my channel with your stupid comments? Okay, why don't you do that? Thank you all to the positive people here uplifting each other. You all are the real ones. His name is Strive 420, says it all. Oh, you said wage slavery is real. And so that's another point that I wanted to play. It was a video talking about Charlie Kirk. And basically, Charlie Kirk does not believe in free lunch, right? Now, I remember when I was in school, and this was a long time ago when I was in elementary school, we paid for our lunches. But now, because I do work in the school system, they have free breakfast for children and free lunch for children. All of them get free lunch. Charlie Kirk doesn't believe in free lunch. And so the argument was made, well, what about the families that can't afford it, right? Because they might have multiple children. Charlie said, feed your own children, get a job. And so the person said, minimum wage is so low right now, how they might not be able to afford it. Charlie Kirk did not have an answer for that. So he dismissed that part of the conversation and wanted to move on. I don't call that winning a debate. Why would you want children to be hungry and trying to get an education in class? They're not going to be able to concentrate. Why don't Charlie go donate some food to the children? The billions and millions of dollars that he had for Turning Point USA, if he cared about children eating, why didn't he? And so for that other person to put that comment in the comment section, what did I do for homelessness? What did Charlie Kirk do for homelessness? Why don't Erica Kirk and Charlie Kirk take part of that Turning Point donation money and go feed the homeless and the people out here that can't feed their children? Why don't they do that? But see, people don't want to do that. People want to use their money to fund their own narratives and agendas in politics. Let's see. You said because America is the type of corporation to hold you hostage, says October Smoke. You said, y'all, some haters. Not all black dads are ghosts and not all white dads are Superman. Yeah, I have spoken to a lot of Caucasian women that said they're trying to get away from their counterparts and they're married. And they said they just can't take it anymore. I've spoken with one of my colleagues. She's older than me. She's a realtor as well. And she was saying that she was a single mother for many years when she moved out of Alabama to this state. She said she was a single mother with 2 children, didn't know how she was going to make it, but she made it, y'all. She worked at a bank and, until she met her husband. So it's not just melanated women that go through this, but a lot of women are going through this, and I don't know why this is being the case, but we really need to talk about the facts here, because it's not just one group of women going through it. I know that it gets pushed in the media. And see, that's another thing with propaganda. They like to always paint a narrative of a certain group of people and put another group of people on a pedestal when that's not really the case that's going on across the nation, y'all. Charlie Kirk's bigoted, divisive racist ideology has caused significant harm, fueling social fragmentation, economic losses of over $500 billion annually, and strained U.S. international relations. I love that comment, Iman Sadiq. I love how you wrote that. Very well stated, very well articulated. Lonesome Dove, thank you for spreading positivity in the chat section. You said bless, bless. This is my kind of woman, says Black. Absolutely gorgeous, queen of queens. Thank you so much for that. MLK was done in after uniting workers, says Davis Packard. You said Charlie Kirk was from the Netherlands originally and was shot because he was Hitler's nephew. I didn't hear about that, Eli. I don't know what TDS means. So you said majority of Black kids are raised without a father. Obviously not all. A lot more is from the Black community. It's the leading cause of incarceration. So the thing about it is, Connor, that's not necessarily true. But I do understand where you think that this is true. There are a lot of single mothers that are raising very respectful young men out here. I work with children. I've been working with children for the last few years. And some of them do not have fathers, and not all of them are going into incarceration. As a matter of fact, my mother did not grow up with her father. My daddy did not grow up with his father. But yet, and still, they got together, had us, they were married, and they're still together. So sometimes you can't always go by the narrative that they're painting in the media. So I really commend my parents a lot for beating the odds, y'all, because if you listen to the narratives that are pushed, and both of my parents are melanated, by the way, for those that's wondering, it's not always the case. You said Johnny Boy says, cute girl, hello. Malcolm X after calling out the left and right. Charlie after not taking BB's money. Yes, Davis. This is what happens when people don't know how to shut up. Okay. Somebody said we're all victims. I think American people are victims. We're going to be victimized until we start coming together and talking about stuff that really matters. Talking about me not having a father when clearly I just played the tape so you could hear that our conversation took place last night. Clearly, I have a father. And I thank God that both of my parents are still walking on this earth. They attacking you. These people' job is to waste time because they know their time is up. Jabril, I do agree with that. It's not privilege, it's entitlements. So, Tony, yes, y'all people do have a sense of entitlement. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it. As a matter of fact, I was talking to this lady the other day from Argentina, and she was expressing her disgust, for your kind. And I'm not saying it's all of you, but it's a lot of you. And she said, even though she looks Caucasian, she does not like to deal with Caucasians. She brought up the conversation. I wasn't even talking about y'all. She looked like she was itching to have the conversation with me. So I asked her, I said, what is it? Their sense of entitlement? Is it the fact that they try to make you feel like they're supreme and you're beneath them? She said, yes. She has two parents that are also from Argentina, but they have accents and they look more Hispanic than her. And she said they get very mistreated by white people. And she said she prefers not to deal with y'all. And that is a lady that looks Caucasian. And I told her, I said, well, you look like you could pass. So you seem like you would get along well. But she said people can't handle the nature of how she is because she's outspoken. And a lot of times people don't like it when you tell the truth. And they, like I said, the hit dogs are hollering because we're telling the truth on them. You said, don't read the hidden comments. I'm not. My politics stand is that I feel that this country needs to get along. I think it's stupid that you have to pick a side, left or right, and that they start fighting and we don't get anything accomplished because there are a lot of bigger problems than the problems that they're pushing, the narrative in front of our faces. Like this whole thing about Charlie Kirk is one thing, but we are facing an economic problem. We are facing the tariffs. We are dealing with, a lot of things that has taken place since those borders were open. As a matter of fact, inflation is a terrible thing that's going on here. So we need to talk about this economy. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Somebody said shout out to the Bay Area. What do most women sympathize? Why do most women sympathize with Charlie Kirk? I'm not sympathizing with him, so I don't know where you get that from. I'm making a point in what I'm speaking about. Nobody's sympathizing with him, so you're jumping to conclusions for what reason? Oh, if I'm rambling you, but you're still here, Connor. You're still here. You're still here. You said Kirk is from Switzerland. Jews do fund it all. Is this fun for you? I guess it is fun for you because you're here. Jews own the slave ships. When they say don't be a victim, they are trying to shut you up. So they can't do that. They don't have the power. And see, when you take the power out of their hands, that's when they really get triggered, y'all. When you stand firm in who you are, because you don't need their validation, you don't need their validation. That's another thing they don't like, when you don't need their validation. And when you know that you come something from far more divine than what they could ever imagine. When you walk with faith in your divine ancestors, your spirits, your angels, and you know that you're made in the image of your divine creators, because it said, let us make man in our image. You don't need to worry about another entity that walks this planet just like you, because they have no power. They wish they did, but that's why they're in the comment section, because I had the power to bring them here. I had the power for them to type on their keyboards and to say these things. So who's the powerful one here? Because I'm not going over to their platform worried about what they're saying at all. My channel says brown girls are beautiful. So I think when they see that title, they get offended. But really, if you ever followed my channel from 5 years ago, I was talking about politics from the very beginning. You said a black man brought the rights to Turning Point. I saw that. You said smart girl. I seem bothered. You seem bothered because you're over here telling me that I'm bothered. You said I'm going to sub. I'm looking. No, loving your knowledge. Thank you. You said I'm not a troll, but you're either brainwashed or just plain stupid. Okay, Doug. Well, that's your opinion. You're not going to make me feel stupid, being the fact that I have multiple degrees and I have graduated multiple times, and I work with children, help to educate them, because a lot of these children are suffering with literacy. A lot of them are suffering not knowing how to do math. So I think that somebody's learning from me. So if you think I'm stupid, clearly a lot of people don't think I'm stupid because they're over here watching and they're engaging. So who's the stupid one? You are. And then you're resulting to name calling, because that's the type of literacy that you have. You're on a very IQ level. But George Soros wasn't rioting. It was citizens. Nothing I said was wrong. I can't type all in one comment, but try again. I don't need to try again. Why don't you? Because he's funding it. Okay, he's funding it. So he paid people to do it, and they were actually gathering people. It's like a pyramid scheme. So we know this has been going on for many years now. He was murdered because he wasn't following the Israel narrative. I do think that that has something to do with it, DJ Michael. Bless who? Sickle cell soldier. I'm not a troll, but here's an unfounded insult of a claim. Good AM from Los Angeles. Shout out to LA. Shout out to LA. Charlie Kirk is from Denmark. So he's from Europe. I guess we can agree that he's definitely from Europe, y'all. You said I'm a victim because you know my chat bothering me. Okay. I don't know what all this means. Who is they? They, Tony. I'm referring to you. They. Okay. They. People like you. People that think like you. That's who they is. In case you needed me to clarify. All right. That's who they is. You said was. You're painfully naive and ignorant. I feel sorry for you, normal human, because you're not even a human. All right, keep dreaming if was the Spanish lady, but keep lying to yourself. I don't even know what you're saying. Please write a proper sentence. I don't even know what you're trying to say. This is what brainwash looks like in human form. Luke Skywatcher, continue to watch the sky. I think that's what you need to focus on, okay? BJB, some of the trolls block me so I can't see them right away before you see their negative comments. I'm not worried about it, Lone. I am not worried about it. They, them, he, she, it, all of these narrative, all of these pronouns, whatever you want to classify yourself. I'm talking to you. Blessed, you acting a snowflake, nobody triggered but you. You know, why is it snowing right now? And we're not even in wintertime. Why are the snowflakes falling down to the ground and we're not even in winter? Another queen who thinks Vikings were black. Ha ha ha. First of all, who thinks that? So you see how they jump to conclusions, y'all? This is the idiotic nature of them. except you went to public school and have a 64 IQ. So now you know my IQ level. And even if you went to private school, is this the best thing that you can type in the comment section? Well, then I feel sorry for your private school. Ha 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 ha. Race is insane. You folks are lost. Name me one successful black country without European help. This isn't racist to say. This is just a fact. Don't say Egypt. They are sub-Saharan. Connor, I don't need to name anything for you because I don't need your validation. See, and that's why you keep getting the narrative misconstrued. Don't come over here telling me what to tell you. You're over here. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to answer your questions. I don't need to fit your narrative. I don't even need to be liked by you. You're the one over here engaging with me. I seem triggered. Okay, well, you seem triggered too. I already answered that question. You said you're 1000% going to heaven. Okay, Sky Watcher, keep watching the sky and keep imagining. You said, I bet she sacrifices chicken in her apartment. If I was sacrificing chickens, which I don't live in an apartment, I own a house. But if I were sacrificing chickens, what difference does it mean to you, Charlie? Worry about the sacrificing of Charlie Kirk. Why don't you focus on that? Jesus did die for you. Okay, keep believing that. Jesus was black, Anthony. Let me see. Charlie Kirk featuring Michael Jackson, Riversdale Scotch. Did you say you can buy melanin? You sure can. You didn't know? Go check it out. It's on the internet. Who's they? I already answered that question. Murdering ninjas? Okay. All lives matter. I already said that in my video. Go Trump. RIP Charlie. Okay. Okay. Shout out to Charlie Kirk, y'all, if that makes you feel better. Name one African country not harmed by Europe. Connor boy. I bet you he can't do it. I bet you he can't do it. Bet you can't do it like me. Bet you can't do it like me. RP to Charlie, you said. Imagine being beaten so hard you start inventing new history to not feel bad. So the fact that you have to beat people into submission shows me how weak you are. Imagine that. Imagine that. You said Jesus was not black. Tell yourself that. Who are they talking about when they say hair of wool? Look at this. Who are they talking about when they say skin of bronze? Look at this. Okay. So if he wasn't black, he definitely wasn't European and he wasn't white. Kirk was started by the Democrats. Who is they? You already asked that. Go Trump. He's a PDF. Ooh, he's a PDF. Guaranteed this lady has no dad. Look, they always want to. This is the only thing they can come up with. Hilarious. Y'all are hilarious. Yeah, you sound dumb. Name one African American not harmed by another. Name one white person. Ooh. Name one white person that didn't get here by way of immigrating over here. Name that. Name that. Positive vibes for Charlie Kirk. Name one white person that didn't get over here by immigration, because y'all did not come from North America. The Native Americans were already here. So y'all came on a boat. Okay. Y'all came over here. Y'all are immigrants. So let's really talk about history. You love Charlie Kirk's music? Didn't know he had music. Let me see. Yes, I do think that he could have been a Middle Eastern dude, not a white man, Zach. The Beatles were black. Africans haven't figured out the wheel. 3-story buildings or door hinges, but you all created knowledge. Normal, do you understand that human civilization started in Africa, you idiot? So no matter how much you try to hate anybody that looks Native American or with African characteristics, you still have it running through your blood, your veins, and your DNA. So if you hate black people and you hate Africa, you hate yourself, dummy. You said, oh, I've never been on EBT, but sorry that you feel that way. All right. You said you're supporting the party founded on slavery and cruelty. Not really, but if you have that thought process, okay. Most religious people don't know their own religion. The dark religions know their arts and books better than anyone. Release the Trump-Stein files, says Elizabeth. Okay. I love that song he wrote for Mobb Deep. He said we invented peanut butter and built everything and invented showers. We also invented the toilet bowl and made it white, GSB. So every time you go take a SHIT, think about that. All right. Positive vibes, LMAO. Races in the comments trying not to look like Epstein's. You said that's called federalism. Two in every country, blah, blah, blah. Yet you're still here commenting. You sound unintelligent. So do you, Tara. So do you. You said, I feel you, blasphemous troll. Meanwhile, Africa versus Europe today, big difference. This poor creature. Oh my goodness. Normal human says she suffers from Dunning Kruger worse than anyone I've ever seen. Her projection is off the charts. Like, I really care what you think. Oh my gosh. Normal human wants to be acknowledged. All right, let's keep going, y'all, because they're not talking about anything in the comment section. Brett, best friends with Epstein for 10 years. Y'all ain't listening to her because you protect child touchers. You need to fix your snaggletooth. I have all my teeth in my mouth, sweetheart. Sorry that that's all you can talk about are my teeth. They're all mine and they're all real. So if you have a problem with that, click off the channel. I mean, I bet he was the person I meant. White people talking about bad teeth. Y'all, I don't care what these people have to say about me. I love my smile. I love everything about myself because I love myself. I'm made in the image of my divine creator, y'all. And I have all my teeth and they are real and they are here. Now, you said I'm lying through those teeth. So is Erica Kirk. She's lying through those fake tears. Okay. Lying through those. And you're supposed to be positive and you're not. Ew. It's not a good look. Um, Go Trump. Okay, Charlie Kirk is still alive. I think he could have possibly faked his death, Tony Jones. That's what I really honestly believe because of the false flags, because of the false narratives, because we know that Sandy Hook didn't really take place like they told us. We know that the Boston Marathon shooter was not who they told us. We know that 9/11 didn't happen like they told us. We know that so many false flags has taken place by these Caucasians over here that all they do is lie to everybody to push their own political agenda and narratives. So that is exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all, there are so many comments on here that these trolls in here, they are sounding triggered. They are sounding triggered, but unfortunately, yes, hit that like button if you haven't. Girl Dad cooking up deliciousness. Hit that like button. I really don't have time to stay on here because I'm about to go out here and make America great again. And I do apologize to y'all because usually I try to get through all the comment sections and read all of your comments, but I just don't have enough time to do that. Because I really have to go. I got to go work with the children. I'm about to make America great again, something that I don't know if Charlie Kirk was doing, something that I don't know if Turning Point USA is doing, but this is the turning point in America. And like, I'm about to go out here and work with these children, y'all. So you all stay blessed. Continue to walk in your divinity. Remember to celebrate yourself. I appreciate the positive discourse. I apologize for the ignorant comments and the people that have a lack of education and knowledge with their indoctrination tactics. But you know, it's really not my fault that they're this ignorant. They can blame their own people for that, for painting a false narrative in history. So now that we are having this conversation, maybe they can do some studying if they have comprehension skills and read about the true fabric of this history and this country and this land, and how their president and how their government has always been the one to blame for tearing, you know, the world apart, because America feels that they have to be in everybody else's affairs, always putting us at war, and we're collateral damage. So the whole point of this title is America needs to take control of their government, right? So this should be a turning point in USA, not for somebody to be going back and forth in the chat section, hollering and being triggered like a hit dog that they are, right? We don't need that. It's a bunch of divisiveness going on, and it's a bunch of people that are just miserable in life. But I'm going to be spreading some positivity out here in the world. I don't know what these, you know, people are going to do that's very, you know, mad, bothered, and triggered. They're probably going to need to go find somebody else to mess with after this is over, said and done, because they're still going to be miserable. They're still going to be commenting, and I'm still not going to read it, right? So pay them what they're worth, nothing, right? They hate it when when you don't give them the attention and energy they want, because they're really not worth it. They're not worth the time, the wasted effort, and the energy. They don't want to elevate, so they're always going to stay on that low, immature level in which they are. And so sometimes you have to talk to people like children because they really have a childlike mind. And I've seen children that are more mature than some of these people that are supposedly adults in the comment section. So I'm wondering, how were they raised? This definitely comes from generational antics. It looks like this has been passed down from generation to generation, and they need to break that curse that's in their family. And when you come from a fabric of killing and savagery, and when you come from a fabric of lying to yourself for history purposes, and not telling the truth, this is what happens. You get triggered, you're angered, you're mad when people come on and tell the truth. You get very triggered, and hit dogs are going to continue to howl, deriving from the cages of which they come, in the caves, in the mountains, in the Caucasus Mountains, coming up like savages that they are. But anyway, y'all, I have had enough. I am going to go sign out, and I will talk to y'all later. All right, y'all, stay blessed and continue to walk in your divinity. Oh, shout out to the people that are making America great again. Bye. Let's play the outro, y'all.